Okay. Okay. So tonight we're just going to go through talking a little bit about self-belief. Um, I think this is so important, and it's something that I have struggled with myself since the start. Really, when I joined the Body Shop at home, um, I really lacked in confidence. It was like I didn't really know why I decided to say yes, because this was so out of my comfort zone. Um, but for some reason I did, and I just told myself it was going to be a hobby, so there was no pressure. I was like, and I might even earn some free products. Probably won't earn any money, but it'll be something fun to do. And obviously it's turned into much more, but deep down I always had this voice saying, hopefully this could turn into something more. Hopefully I could do what Amanda's done and make this my full-time income. So if you have that little voice saying, what if, and oh, wouldn't it be amazing, then you totally need to listen to it. um Absolutely. So here we go. Okay, so this is one of my absolute favorite quotes. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. I absolutely love this quote because it is so true. So much of what we do, just it depends on whether we think we can do it or not. Because if you think you can do something, if you genuinely think you can do it, then you're going to put the actions in place to achieve it. But if you don't, then you're just not going to bother. Um, that's kind of my experience. So we're going to just talk a little bit about mindset. So mindset is a collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your habits. So by that, if you think that you can do something like I just said, you're more likely to put the actions in place. So your habits, I guess, are your actions. Um, and I'm going to talk a little bit about fixed and growth mindset, which is getting a lot more popular now. I think a lot more people are starting to understand the importance of mindset. And when I first started, I thought it was all a load of rubbish. How was mindset work going to actually help me? But it really does make a difference. So, okay, we're going to start with a fixed mindset. So, this is when you believe that things can't be changed. So, for example, I am only this level of intelligent, and there's nothing I can do about it. I was born that way, and that's that. So um, rather than sort of focusing on how you can develop and improve, you're more like, well, I'll just I'm just where I am. I'm at that level, or that's me. I'm average, or whatever you happen to be. And I think, you tend to sort of lack confidence if you have a fixed mindset. You avoid challenges, give up easily. When I first joined the Body Shop, I had very little resilience. So if something didn't go my way, I wanted to give up. And I did nearly give up, probably about 3 times that I seriously nearly gave up, because I just didn't think I was good enough. And the minute something went wrong, I would like catastrophize it, and everything would start to go wrong because I was just not trying to make it go right, if that makes sense. So you ignore constructive feedback, and you may feel threatened by the success of others. So we don't want to have a fixed mindset. I guess you gathered that already. Um, so these are some of the things that somebody with a fixed mindset would say. So I'm not good at this, it's too hard. I sort of relate a lot of this to my children. I think they've all said these things to me. And as parents, I think we foster a growth mindset naturally. We're always trying to get our children to overcome obstacles. but sometimes I think we forget that we need to do exactly the same. So for example, I just don't have the talent. You know, people aren't necessarily always born with the talent. They learn it, they practice, they push themselves. Okay, on to growth mindset. So this is the positive one. So you believe and understand that your abilities can be developed through hard work, um, which is absolutely true. Worry less about looking clever and put your energy into learning. So it's worrying less about what other people think. I don't know about you guys, but as I'm getting older, I am worrying a lot less about what other people think. Um, in my 20s, oh my God, I totally worried. And now I worry so much less. And I just think, I think people kind of like that. I think we should all worry less about what other people think. Okay, thrive in the face of a challenge. Some people are really, really challenge driven, others aren't. That's okay. I'm not. I've definitely got a lot more resilient since joining the Body Shop at home, but I still am not massively competitive. That's just not in my nature. But some people do, and again, if you have anybody that you're mentoring or coaching, it's really, really handy to find out if they love a challenge or not. Because if they do, fantastic. If they don't, then you need to think of other ways that it's going to inspire and motivate them. So, yep, take all constructive feedback and use it to grow. So these are some of the things that somebody with a growth mindset will say. So I will keep trying. I'm going to go and figure out how they do it. Is this my best work? Can I improve next time? I will use a different strategy. I won't give up. Um, I will find a way to work this aspect of my character. So we're all different. You can't compare yourself to everybody else. And it's really easy in this business to pick out somebody maybe who inspires you or who you know is doing really well and keep comparing yourself to them. But you're totally different people with different personality traits, and just life is different. You have different friends, everything's different. So you shouldn't really um, sort of benchmark yourself against other people. Okay, so here we go. So how to take a growth mindset approach. So it's really, really important to make a decision to achieve something. So what is it you want to achieve? It could be something big or it could be something small. I think if you're struggling with self-belief, pick something small that's challenging but achievable. I'll explain why later. Um, so be determined to master it, not give up. Learn and develop the new skills needed. So if you're prepared, you're better equipped and more likely to achieve what it is you want to achieve than if you're not prepared and you don't really know what it is you're wanting to do. So, for example, if you're wanting to sell some products in a range you don't know, you need to learn about that range in order to be able to sell it. And if you can get some pictures of before and afters and so on with that range, again, it's going to all just add to your sort of skills and you're more likely to sell those products. Take ownership of your growth. So there's only you that can really make this work and improve your self-belief and reach your goals. It's not something that your upline can do. It's something that you have to take ownership of. However, we can support you. And again, I will explain that bit later. So make a decision more significant than your fears or worries. Make your decision. So I think that sort of comes down to your why. So why are you doing this, or why do you want to achieve what it is you want to achieve? You know, do you want to make this? Do you want to build a team? Do you want to make this your full-time income? Do you want to be able to leave work or earn X amount a month or whatever it is you want to achieve? really, really think about your why, because if you have that in the back of your head, it's a reason to jump out of the bed in the morning, and it's a reason to put the effort in, because you're not going to develop um, without putting in the work. So develop positive daily habits and be consistent. And I think every now and then you need to re-look at it and just be like, okay, what's slipping? What am I doing that's not as positive as, when I started this? Because I think we all do make these good habits, but then after a while certain things slip. Life gets in the way, doesn't it? So every now and then you've just got to, it's like tidying your workspace, I guess. How good does it feel when you have a really tidy workspace and you work really hard that day and then it gets messier and messier and messier, and then you clean it back up again and you're like, yeah, I'm on it. So I think it's like that with all kinds of habits, really. Um, be prepared and have information and systems to hand to help you. There's so much available. Obviously, we've got the whole of the internet, but we've got the BI, we've got the knowledge base. If you haven't already used that knowledge base, it is fantastic. It doesn't always have the answer you want, but keep using it, because they are taking all those questions you ask and trying to answer them. So hopefully next time, if it's not there this time, it will be at some point. Be enthusiastic and grateful in your outlook. So be positive, and be grateful for everything that we do have. Remember your goals and big dreams. So a vision board, that is always really, really good to have. You could have it saved as your screensaver on your phone. That's what I do. Or you could have it up above your workspace, or you could have it as maybe your laptop screensaver. Okay, so this one I think is really, really important. Make mistakes. So this is something that I have to try and drum into my girls all the time, because they both really, really like to do everything perfectly, or it's just a waste of time. And I don't know why they think like that, because I've always been like this with them. So um, I always tell them when they come home and they've got something wrong, or they've got, however many out of however many, I'm like, but that tells you what you need to learn. So that's really, really good. Because if you just get it all right and you're not trying, so for example, my youngest, she never used to have to learn her spellings, because she always would go and get like 9 or 10 without even trying. But that wasn't like pushing her, that wasn't helping her grow. Whereas her friends who maybe struggled with the spellings, they were working really hard to get what it was they got. So they were growing and they were learning. Whereas when she was just getting 10 out of 10 without even trying, she wasn't learning. So it might have felt good for her and it might have given her a confidence boost, but she wasn't learning anything and she wasn't getting more resilient. So make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It shows that you're learning. Um, and if everybody just stuck to what they knew, we wouldn't get anywhere, if nobody tried to learn more. So make mistakes. It shows you're trying new things, learning, pushing yourself, and it really, really does help build resilience. And I'm sure none of the mistakes are going to be major either. I mean, by a mistake, it might be that you try something and it doesn't work, but you think, well, how can I try it next time? What can I do different? And sometimes it's the tiniest thing that you do different and it works. A lot of the time, it's not necessarily a mistake, it's just a situation. You might not have advertised an event well enough, or you might have picked a bad time to do it. Um, or you might have just chosen the wrong kind of products that your guests didn't want, stuff like that. Okay, so most importantly, how can you build your self-belief and how can you change your mindset? So this is where I was talking about, was managers are here to support. My upline is Amanda, and she lent me some belief on so many occasions. So she could see that I could do well in this business when I couldn't. And she kept saying, I believe in you, just go for it. And that really, really did go a long way. If she hadn't have believed in me at some times, especially when I was threatening to leave, saying, I just can't do this. In fact, I did at one point. I was getting married and I was so stressed out. Um, and I had a couple of months off, and I said, look, I'm stepping down. You, I don't want the team anymore. This was in the early days when I was an area manager, and she said, "Okay, that's absolutely fine." And I was telling her that it was for real, and I wasn't going to change my mind, and all the rest of it. I was like, "I will stay a consultant because I love it, but I don't want to be a manager anymore." She was like, "Okay, okay." And then I think it was maybe a month, and she was checking on me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing much better now. I've got married, and I'm not stressed." And she was like, "Okay, well, your team's there. It's waiting for you. Do you want to pick it back up?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, of course I do." And then that's the end of it. So she believed that I wasn't just going to quit it, and sort of kept things going for me. And I will be forever grateful for her for that, because it's gone from strength to strength since then. So affirmations. So if you really do struggle and you do have a fixed mindset, then you need to work on changing that. So it might be telling yourself, this sounds really, really corny, but it might be telling yourself every day, I can do this, and I will do this. And whenever you sort of come in across a problem, changing it to something positive. And there's lots of books out there. There's lots of information you can read on positive affirmations. So if you really do think that you are struggling with a fixed mindset, then I would look into that and try and work on it. Be aware and step in when you're limiting yourself. So try and just become a bit more self-aware. Um, so if something's making you feel bad, um, or negative, and you're just you don't want to do that particular task for some reason, it's probably because you're struggling to believe that you can do it, or there'll be a reason behind it. Well, stop, try and work out what's going on in your head, and stop, and change what you're going to do. Sometimes if something's really bothering you, I get this all the time. We all do. Sometimes there'll be a task that I just don't want to deal with, and I just keep literally skirting around it. But then eventually I have to do it. So sometimes it's better to start the day and just think, I'm going to get that horrible job out of the way. And how amazing do you feel after you've done it? And do you know what? It's not normally anywhere near as bad as you think it's going to be. But yeah, there's a book out there. I think it's Eat the Frog, Eat That Frog. And that is about literally just just getting that scary thing out of the way, and then the rest of the day is going to be much, much easier for you. Another thing is set achievable challenges. So they must be a challenge. It can't just be something that 100% is not even going to be a challenge for you, otherwise it's pointless. It needs to be something that's hard but achievable for you. Break it down. So, for example, you want to build a team. Okay, well, this week I'm going to recruit one person. I'm going to try and recruit one person. And then when you do that, you're like, oh, okay, I can do this. So I just need to keep doing this. And I'm going to have that team in place. And some weeks you'll do it, some weeks you might not do it. But it's important that you don't give up. So I would definitely say set achievable challenges and prove to yourself that you can do what it is you need to do. Have a B plan. So if A plan doesn't work, that's absolutely fine. But have a B plan. What else are you going to do if that doesn't work? Just don't give up. I always have looked at certain people in the business who've inspired me, and they've all been through loads and loads of challenges that where they've nearly given up, or something terrible has happened, and they've just carried on. And that's what inspires me. It's not necessarily, that so and so did whatever and it was just easy. It's that they did it with um, 4 kids, or they did it with, you know, having to go through a divorce, or their business went from, you know, a huge business to a really small business and they built it back up again. It's those kind of things that really inspire me. And that kind of helps me to not give up, because I think, look how well they've done because they've got through those challenges. And then finally, don't compare to other people. It's your journey. Um, Comparing yourself can have quite a negative effect. It's absolutely fine to, for example, like we did on the boot camp, have like a body shop buddy. So that's somebody that it helps make you accountable, and you can encourage each other on. It's just, it needs to be positive. Whereas if you're just comparing yourself to somebody, they might not have a clue that you comparing yourself to them is having a negative effect on you. They can't help you. They can't say, well, actually, everything I post on Facebook is positive, but my whole life isn't positive. You know, it's just what you see is positive. For example, like Instagram. I'm not in on Instagram, but well, I am, but I don't use it. I don't know how to use it. But when I go and have a little look on there, everybody's lives look so perfect. I feel like Facebook is a little bit more real, whereas on Instagram it's just crazy. Everything's to a whole new level. And I think it's easy to get sucked in and think that people have this most amazing life with no troubles and no worries. And I don't think that's true. I think everybody has stuff to deal with. Okay, so that is the end of my slides. Let me just see, I've got some notes here. Let me just see if there's anything else that I want to add. Okay, so yes, you are the director of your small business. You are the boss. You work hard and you're the driving force to make sure that everything keeps going. So definitely have a think about your self-belief, have a think about your why. And if you find yourself limiting yourself, and being sort of negative, then step in and think, okay, what can I do? I know what I'm doing right now, and I know it's not positive. So what else can I try? Okay. Just see what other notes I've got. Okay, another important thing is tune out negativity. So it can be really easy, and you might not always know it's happening. It can be really easy to let somebody else, it might be somebody in the business, it might be one of your friends, it might be a family member. It's really, really easy to kind of get sucked into their negativity, whether it's their negativity about you and what you're doing, or just about themselves. It can make you feel really, really low. So just be aware of that. I'm not saying don't support friends and family who are having a difficult time, but just try and separate yourself from it and just think, you know, if you're really worried and stressed out about them, you can then become really sort of negative about your own problems or business and so on. So just try and be, I think it's just being more aware. Make a plan, set a date and action it. I know I always go on about actioning it, but that is so important. I come up with so many ideas, and it's actioning them that's important. Okay, we've talked about what are they called? Boards that you make. Can't remember now. Inspiration board. That isn't the word, but we'll go with it.
Vision board.
What was that, Vicky?
Vision board.
Vision board. That was it. Okay. So hang on. I'm going to just end this now, and then we come back.